Hey guys, please take a seat and welcome our guest here. We're gonna have very good fireside chat. Okay, so Adeniyi, I'm really happy to interview you today here on the stage. And please give us first introduction about yourself. You have a very interesting story. I made a small research about that before our conversation here. And you started from Bitcoin mining, fintech, working in enterprises, and now you're doing one of the most popular and biggest blockchain. And give us a little bit of flavor. How's your journey? What's your journey?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been in crypto for 14 years. It's crazy to think about that. I started in crypto in 2011 with Bitcoin, but before that, I grew up in England. Started off as a software engineer building software for oil and gas companies, monitoring systems. Then I went to hedge funds and investment banking business, building trading systems and portfolio optimization. While I was at JP and also HSBC, I found out about a technology called Bitcoin. I faded it a little bit, then I dug a bit deeper at the code, and I was actually quite excited about the possibilities. I knew how banking system worked. I knew how much we invested in end-to-end trade processing systems. And I started buying Bitcoin, I started mining Bitcoin, and after a while, ultimately, people started asking for help with getting access to BTC. Overall, long short, I accidentally built a Bitcoin mining company. In fact, we were at one point 15% of all the Bitcoin mining at any given time, like on the hash rate. So I accidentally built a Bitcoin mining company. I screwed up when I tried to build my own Bitcoin mining hardware. I taped out a chip, the chip flopped, lost a ton of BTC. But, I was still crypto positive. I mean, luckily I didn't sell all my Bitcoin, but, we did quite well. I got a bit disillusioned with the BTC space for a while because I felt like we weren't moving fast enough. We wanted to make things faster. People just weren't really interested. And I think Bitcoin was always going to be slow. It's always going to be really just a value store, and that's fine. That's the use case. So I'm not going to fade it in that respect. But I felt like the best opportunity to bring crypto technology to the masses was enterprise. And I went over to Oracle. I helped Oracle launch blockchain. I helped VMware launch the blockchain. Then Facebook dragged me in to try and launch blockchain for them. So I was one of the product leads on Project Libra. Which is where I met the majority of my co-founders.
Yeah, very popular back to that time, right?
Yeah. We got shut down by the US government. It's fun, right? At Facebook, what we're trying to do is build a global layer for making it easy to send money. Like we had succeeded at Facebook in sending messages free. We wanted to make sending money across the world free and as easy as email. That was a vision. I was very enamored by that. I thought it was a great vision. Where we maybe screwed up is trying to mix infrastructure with stable coins, right? I think having one is interesting, but having both is a bit of a death trap for the project.
Right. So let's talk about coding on the SUI is a bit different, and that's exactly the biggest difference of movement language. Like if you code on Solana, it's like Rust, and much more easier to get to the Ethereum ecosystem because the whole ecosystem is established well already. So how hard were for you to explain how to use new language, and is it a barrier or is it something which really helps you because it helped you to grow? Tell us about SUI more. What's the current state and what's the future? Yeah.
So I think SUI is the easiest blockchain to build on, period, right? I'll tell you a bit of our thought process. While we're at Facebook, we researched our programming languages. We looked at Solidity, we looked at Rust, we looked at every language, Java, you name it, and we thought, well, look, you really need a domain-specific language for programming money. And we couldn't stand in front of Congress and say, hey, trust us, bro. EVM works, right? There's no way it would have worked. So we invested a lot of effort in building a brand new programming language, and when we left Facebook, we turbocharged the development process to make it even easier. So it's object-oriented. Most developers are used to object-oriented primitives, and SUI is the only object-oriented platform that lets you build something safely. So you're not communicating using bits and bytes, you're communicating using strongly typed objects. Typical developers are learning SUI move between 2 to 4 days. And if you look at code, to write a DEX or swap on SUI, it's literally, 4 times, the code is 4 times less verbose than Sol. So there's less opportunities to make errors. People are saying developing on SUI is 10 times easier than developing on Solana. So SUI is the fastest growing chain in regards to that as a result of it being very easy to build on. That's what we're realizing. So it's actually, when people say, hey, you know, EVM's done really well and like Sol's done really well, like, look, there are 25,000 devs in Web3. In Facebook, we had 50,000 developers, so it's nothing. Like, come on, we're so early. There are more than 10 million JavaScript developers. Those are the developers we want to bring into Web3, and I think we're going to do that job because we actually have a language that people can really understand that doesn't demand you to understand the lower levels of the infrastructure.
Wow, and you know, one thing I particularly agree that you just mentioned that we're still early, and I 100% agree. My first Bitcoin was in 2017, and it was like $1,000 per each. And I thought, why I'm so late? Some of my friends, they bought it like, you know, $100 or $10. And, you know, the difference was now, like 8 years later, I think now we're still early.
I was buying BTC at $10. So
yeah, that's exactly the case, you know, that's exactly the case. And, you know, the good thing that definitely we're so early. And what's the current stage for the SUI? Because, like, typically, you know, every company, they go through the hype cycle, then let's say like adoption. So what's the current stage? Like, you know, what guys you're working on and what kind of difficulties you met?
So in the last year, SUI has been probably the top performing crypto asset class in the space. Not just because of hype, but like the technology really works. We've had a number of large institutions, Van Eck, Franklin Templeton, you name it, that are building products directly on SUI. Any game studios as well. We're launching the SUI Plays Xerox Home, which is a games console on the platform. Our intuition on trying to build for the next billion users is clear. People just say it, but SUI actually has the tech to back it up. Beyond that as well, we've released a number of protocol upgrades that reduces latency from 1.5 seconds all the way to 400 milliseconds. So SUI is the lowest latency chain on the market today. It's about 8x lower latency than Solana. I mean, if you think about it in real terms, compared to ETH, it's not comparable. Storage on SUI is like 100x cheaper than Sol. It's 2,000x cheaper than ETH. So not only on SUI can you effectively transact, you can also store data on SUI. So you can store the entire app on SUI and execute on SUI, which is different from other chains. So it's just an elevated, better developer experience. I mean, at Facebook, we've been building developer platforms at Facebook and Google. The people who build Miston, build Search, built like Spanner at Google, built like infrastructure, AI infrastructure at Facebook. We've been building infrastructure for decades, so we're not new at this, which is why like everything we're shipping is always with a high demand of rigor. And I feel a lot of infrastructure builders, L1 builders in the Web3 space are very, very new to infrastructure and haven't actually built something that billions of people have to use. So we come with a different kind of mindset.
Right, and it's interesting because you mentioned a lot of like metrics, like you're faster than these, that, you know, all these like metrics. And do you think this is the core thing, like, you know, fighting for this like a latency? Is it really the war for the latency, or let's say, okay, Bitcoin is slow. That's what you mentioned, and that's exactly how the idea come to build something faster. But at the same time, Bitcoin is a store of value. I think, you know, one of the major kind of use case for the Bitcoin is store of value. What's the use case? What's the major use case for SUI?
So Bitcoin would always be slow. I don't think it's not a Turing complete system, so it shouldn't try to be fast. It is what it is. SUI, our belief is time is money, right? So there are two things I said, time and money. The lower the latency you have, the more broader the use case you can have. The lower the cost you have also, the more broader the use case you can also execute. So we absolutely think latency is one of the most important things you can do. And I'm not talking about optimistic latency like Solana or other systems. You need to have real end-to-end finality, where if you're a trader or if you're a bank, you get specific guarantees about your trade going through without forks. So that tolerance to forks is also very critical. So we've built with that in mind. This is why, like, the reason why we have low latency is because it's something we focus on day one. Like 390 milliseconds, our typical website takes 3 seconds to 3 seconds to load. So when you click a button, the transaction is final before the website refreshes. That means the amount of use cases you can execute on SUI is way broader than other chains. Separately, SUI is a general compute layer, right? It's a global coordination layer. It's beyond just a layer one. Everyone else is building L1. We're building a coordination layer. Our thesis is the internet is fundamentally broken. The way the internet will work in the future is you're going to have a plethora of an open marketplace of APIs, and developers only have to conjure up execution between a multitude of APIs to build the super apps. So SUI is built in that way. I can conjure up 1,000 APIs in one go, execute them atomically, and get finality. That is something you cannot do anywhere else. And you can't even do that with traditional Web 2 systems. That is the opportunity. Like when we came to build Mistin and Sui, it was not, hey, we're going to build Null 1. It's like, hey, we're at Facebook. We could see the big glue missing on the internet is like atomic API systems. Let's build that. And that's a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. And it's something people aren't doing right now.
Right, right. Very interesting. And for you as the CPO, for someone who's care about the products and definitely know a lot about the ecosystem that you guys building, tell us a little bit more about your focus in ecosystem, because we have some chains. We're not gonna name it. They focus on meme coins, for example, right? And for Sui, actually, it was the time, I think, few months ago when a lot of meme coins also started appearing on Sui and become very hype moment as well. But what's your main product kind of focus? So you'd like to have more, I don't know, NFTs or some use cases. What is something you really like trying to push?
So the first thing is, I fundamentally believe meme coins are largely value extractive, right? Like taking from the poor, giving to the rich. We've seen it. Doesn't really work really well. So I think also when you see celebrity meme coins, it's the max value extraction you can have for an ecosystem. I want nothing to do with that. I don't care, right? Like, I think I'm not 100% against memes. I think there is a place for community and people building up fame and things like that. But I think if it's all PvP, it's not going to work and end really, really well. Our belief is business transformation. That the idea you could take your business from an off-chain business to on-chain and get the value effects of building community and also reducing cost. That's exactly where you want to go. Think about a company like Eventbrite. They're only a $200 million company. They have their revenue is actually decent, but they're only $200 million. We have meme coins worth more than that. That company should absolutely go on chain. Move everything from their ticket issuance, storage, everything fully on chain, and then issue a token for the community that it really backs them. 100 million users is not a joke. That's more than crypto, in my view. That's a lot more users than crypto. That is a transformation I think crypto will bring. Like we have Sui that lets you coordinate APIs. We have Walrus, which is a storage layer. Not only is your front end fully decentralized, your back end is also fully decentralized. And then you can actually encrypt data on chain and serve it to people with content rights. So that, for me, is what I'm bullish about. It's the business transformation that comes out of it. Sui also has a fully on-chain central limit order book, like none other. So soon you'll be able to buy stocks and bonds fully on-chain. AMMs are great, but they're good for long-tail assets. They're not great for high-value, highly liquid, highly traded assets like Bitcoin or stocks or bonds. So we have a chain that can let you trade at the speed of light, stocks, bonds, RWAs, everything like that. We're working with the likes of Ant Financial. We're working with the likes of existing large institutions like Van Eck, you name it, that are going to be bringing these kind of assets into the ecosystem. So we think going to bring Web 2 companies onto Web 3, using on-chain as a primitive is the way to go. I don't believe in private chains. I don't believe in side chains. I don't believe in fragmentation. I think you should have a single state machine for everyone to compute on.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we've seen some examples like Polkadot, or I think Avalanche makes better, but anyway, all these like side chains, it kind of like, losing the focus, because when you have your like a solid chain and all the focus for the developers, for your marketing, because you also do a lot of promotion for developers to come to your chain, it's very important. So yeah, and maybe we can elaborate a little bit more about like this specific question, and you can give us more about use cases that you guys promote, maybe some kind of grants programs that you have. Because our conference have a lot of developers here as well, and many projects who are coming here, and they choose in the network which one to go. And I know that developers, they like to have some support from the foundation, from chain. So maybe you can give some good examples of how you can support your ecosystem and the product.
Yeah, some of the fastest growing DeFi protocols are actually on Sui, if you think about that, right? And we believe fundamentally in value alignment. Beyond just giving a grant, we like to actually invest alongside the program rather than just giving a grant, because people can just farm grants all they want. We want to have long-term alignment. So we typically want to buy into the protocols or builders in our ecosystem and have a long-term alignment with this protocol. So you'd find us usually on the cap table of products in the ecosystem. Not because we want to make money, like we're never going to sell the token or investment, but like there's a better alignment when you own a piece of the action than just, hey, YOLO, take a token and go and figure it out, right? So that's our thesis, and it's worked out really, really well. So we're more for value, quality than quantity. Beyond that as well, we have a strong DevRel team we have them in Vietnam, we have them in Korea, we have them in North America. We're actually very well covered. We have a number of accelerators. We actually have one of the largest accelerators in Middle East. We have over 600 companies have signed up to participate in the accelerator. SWE is getting a lot of mindshare also from traditional finance who are building their own DeFi protocols on SWE. I think this year you'll see a traditional bank actually launch a DeFi protocol on SWE as well. So these are the kind of things we're doing. Like we are investing alongside VCs in our ecosystem. We are giving some grants, but really we're more interested in actually putting our money where our mouth is in investing in protocols directly on the platform.
Right. So actually, I live in Dubai, so I've been to your SWE hub in Dubai. So it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Congratulations with that. I think you have very right approach because it's not like a typical kind of hub where it's just like people talking only about like some quick buck, but it's really like a lot of builders and a lot of like a local support. So congratulations with that for sure.
Yeah.
And additional question here because you said that your guys investing, and I do believe that many companies here also would like to apply somehow. What's the channel? Just give us a hint. To approach to you directly or.
I'm not the right person. My Telegram is like packed as hell, but like
that's for sure.
We have the SWE Foundation site where people apply to directly, and people reach out to you quite quickly. We're very open in that regard. So also I would say a good place to start is we have a Tsunami Riders Telegram group with over 2,000 builders in there. Only serious builders, right? Like if you start talking about coins, whatever, you get kicked out. But it's really focused on you have a technical question, you want to help with some code, someone would jump on Zoom with you, walk through it with you, and help you get started. It's a really good community. Honestly, I think we did well in attracting really good people at the beginning, and it's really grown to a really strong community. So I'd say get involved in the Telegram with the Tsunami Riders group. You get a lot of help. You can hire. You can find people who are very value aligned. You can build your company directly from there. And also, we're always active on X. Like you find me tweeting every single day. There's something else I'm talking about. But generally, get involved in our social groups. Get involved in our Telegram. Get involved in our Discord. And there's always a builder there ready to help quite quickly.
Sounds great. And so the last part of our conversation, because time is running so quickly, and it's just a very typical rapid fire rounds when one word from my side and one sentence on one word from your side. Okay, so we start. And the first one will be Bitcoin.
Slow and valuable.
Ethereum.
Very slow, but very stable.
Interesting. ZK Sync.
Don't know much about it.
Okay. The biggest challenge in Web3 adoption?
Too many casinos.
Your proudest achievement?
SWE.
If you weren't in crypto, you'd be doing?
If you're what?
If you're not in crypto, you would be doing?
AI.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adeniyi. It's really nice conversation. I enjoyed a lot, and I hope everyone here enjoyed a lot. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.